Hello, hola, I'm your girl, RenaRenaMomoney. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to talk about seller finance. We're going to do a quick video and explain seller finance. So it's going to be seller finance explained. So come on in. Just clicked on this video, that means you are into the real estate market. You're pretty well versed in what's going on. You are a real estate agent or an investor, a wholesaler. You are someone that's trying to dive into real estate and make it a part of your niche and a part of your wealth. Well, I would like to start out by saying seller finance is one of the greatest techniques to use in obtaining real estate, and I've talked about that on previous videos. We've talked about subject to, we've talked about lease options, we've talked about all the different methods in getting properties. With what's going on with the market, it's even more evident why we need to get more into creative financing. Redfin said there is a 46% decline in investor home purchases. Home prices will be adjusting more and more. And as you know, inflation does adjust home prices. We will see similar stuff like we saw in 2008. So make your decision to buy based on data. Make sure you continue the basics too, whereas it does matter. It matters where you invest at. Keep that in mind. Keep in mind the cash flow is what you want. Don't get sidetracked. Don't get sidetracked into trying to get this properties by any means necessary. Don't get so much into that. You want the correct markets, and you want the markets that are still growing. And that being said, you also need to know where people are moving to and where they are going. So once you've gotten all that together, I want to make sure I touch on that. Some of you are old subscribers and you've listened to a lot of my videos, and you know that I'm from Florida, and Florida is the retirement and immigrants place. I mean, it's the tour spot. It's the vacation and retire spot. So retirees and immigrants are moving to Florida. First of all, it's warm here. So the Florida market is great, but some cities are better than others, and keep that in mind. The Florida population is growing and affordability is still a huge issue here. So because of the affordability, because of investors buying properties in certain areas, and things are going up and some things are slowing down, you will be more in tune to using creative financing. And you say, yep, seller financing, I've been hearing about it. So you ask, what is seller finance? Seller finance is basically when the seller / homeowner holds the note or becomes the bank for you. Usually they're the first mortgage lien holder, and usually the owner owns the property free and clear. So seller financing is basically they're financing that house for you. So if they want $200,000 and they'll hold that note. Agents, you are running into a lot of sellers. So that's a great way of getting started if you're an agent and saying, look, I want to start investing. I want to start making that money. You definitely want to listen and pay attention to your homeowners and your sellers as they're talking to you, because it may be a great fit for you and they're seller financing, and boom, now you're in the business. It's a great fit for paid off homes. A lot of times the owner have the home already paid off, and the seller would be the first lien holder in that case if there's no mortgage on it when I say paid off. And sometimes the sellers do owe, and you can do a wraparound at that time where you'll do installments and other ways of still making that deal work. So if they do owe, there's some ways that you can make it work. If you need help with that, if you have a question, you know, I always say put your questions in a comment and or schedule a coaching call. If it's too entailed and too deep, and if it's if this then that situation, I'm going to advise you to schedule a coaching call. Let me say this, I am not a financial advisor, nor am I an attorney or a CPA. I am here to just give you valuable information to help you out with some of these techniques and tools that can get you above and get you out there. I would say get with a third party or an attorney to do wraparound mortgage if you need to do a wraparound mortgage. Look that up, do your own due diligence. That way the attorney can advise you correctly, and especially if it comes to interest, you know, because there's, you know, some time we like to do zero interest with sellers, and there's some consequences that the seller need to pay attention to by doing zero interest, as far as IRS and all that good stuff. Again, I'm not a tax advisor, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an accountant, but you definitely want to get some professional help, because you definitely want to structure the deal properly. Be sure to structure the deal properly. So So before I go a little deeper and explain a little bit more about seller finance, you know what I like to do? If you've been on this channel before, you know I always give shout outs, congratulations, I always give thanks to subscribers that have taken the time out. So here you go here. I'm saying you need to congratulate yourself. You should be proud of yourself and clap it up for yourself because you're taking that time out to make a difference in your life. But I like to thank you for coming on the RenaRenaMomoney Plus YouTube channel. So thank you, thank you, thank you. These are either commenters that have commented and made a very nice comment on my video and or they have subscribed. So I just want to say thank you. Also too, I also want to mention to go down in the description. Make sure you go down in the description, take a look and see what can help you out. Click on that more and see what can help you out. I offer coaching calls, so if you need to go a little deeper, make sure you schedule a coaching call at Calendly.com/RenaMomoney. As we dive back into explaining seller finance, I would say it gives you flexibility, and we talk about that all the time. Paying in terms gives you flexibility, and it allows you to leverage your money. And there's so many advantages of doing a seller finance or having a seller finance structured deal. Another thing about it is you could avoid the 20 to 30% that a lender wants. I mean, that's another advantage of a seller finance. So make sure you get the info on the property. Pull up the address in your software to see if there's a mortgage or, you know, or something. See if it's a second lien on it or a loan already on it. You can use PropStream. PropStream gives you an estimate of the balance. It's not the real balance, but get the mortgage statement, as I say, if necessary, get the mortgage statement just as if you were doing a seller finance. I'm sorry, just as if you were doing a subject to. You know, I always recommend that you get that last mortgage statement. It tells you so much. So as you're talking to the seller, you're getting information, you're gathering your information. Be sure to get the property information along with that mortgage statement. Even ask the seller, what do you owe? You know, just come out and ask. That should be a part of the conversation. And if they say they don't owe anything, ding, 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 seller finance. If they say, you know, well, I only owe about 20,000, I only owe about 120,000. You're going to have to talk to them, get your questions answered. Matter of fact, I have a script. You can order the scripts. Those scripts will help you. Where you can get the pertinent information, and you can gather all that stuff and put it all together. I have scripts on what to say to the sellers. I have scripts on what to do next. Take a look and pay attention to those packages. Look down in the description and you'll see that. Keep in mind, you always want to get that pertinent information before you negotiate. You know, so you want to get a lot of information to create a win-win situation, a win-win deal. It doesn't work if it only works for you, or it doesn't work if it only works for the seller. It has to be a win-win situation. See what the monthly payments amount that makes sense, because if you can only get $2,300 a month for rent, but your expenses or your monthly mortgage would be $2,100. Those numbers don't make sense. You have to add that up, and you should know how to determine a good deal and the good numbers. If you need help with that, put it down in the comments below or schedule a coaching call, because you need to know what monthly payment makes sense. Listen. You always want to listen and listen and listen. See what the seller needs for the work for them. See what they need per month, because you can instantly tell if that's going to work. There is no perfect structure, but you want to have at least 12% cash on cash return when you're buying. Let me give you some tips. Let me give you another tip. The most important thing you need when you're on that telephone call, and again, you need to get the scripts and you need to get my packages. Look in the description and see what package will help you, and see where you're at and see what resources I have. You know, schedule a coaching call if you need to. But here's what's the most important thing about that whole seller finance information you need. You must get 1, the purchase price, 2, the down payment upfront, the upfront money that's needed. You know, that's that down payment when you get ready to close. You must know what that number is going to be. Who pays for the closing costs? That's imperative. You know, whether you're paying for the closing costs or they are, because that could be the difference between $3,000 to $13,000. So you need to know that information. That's the third thing. The fourth thing is the terms of the loan. You need to know the terms of the loan, because that's going to determine whether it's a good deal or not. The fifth thing is how many years How many years? Again, if you are the investor, try to get that thing stretched out as long as possible. If you are the seller and owner yourself, then you want it as short as possible. And I talk about that on a previous video. Go down the channel, take some time out and click on some of those other videos too. I briefly talk about seller finance on some stuff. Seller finance is very similar to subject to, but not quite the same. Subject to is basically good for if the person still owes something and you're taking over the mortgage, where seller finance is more appropriate for sellers who don't owe anything. The property is free and clear. So after you get the terms of the loan, then how many years? The last most important thing is how strong the demand is in the market where the house is located. So remember, we always say location, location, location. It has to be a thriving area. So that's pretty much seller finance explained. I hope this video was helpful. Make sure you come back, because I come on this channel every week to give you valuable information and valuable tips. Always stay to the end, because as you see, I'm always streaming something across this screen to help you out, to help you save money or make money. So thanks for coming, and come back next week. I'll see you again. Thank you, and you take care.